Hey everyone, what is up? Happy Wednesday. I know I said 5:30. I had to stop by the store really quick, and yes, I appreciate y'all for being so patient. My name is Azucena Gonzalez. I'm a realtor with Mojica and Associates, and today's topic is puppy training at home. It's funny because my dogs are just like staring at me. They were all over me a little while ago, and now they're all gone. So I'm kind of like, come back, come back. I'll bring one over. I'll bring my favorite right now. But anyways, you already know I'm just kind of setting something up over here, but tell me all about your week. And you're like, how am I going to tell you that? Boo with the comments. What is up? How have you been? What's your week like? What are you working towards? What are you looking forward to, even if it's the weekend? What about the weekend are you looking forward to? Oh, it's my little baby. It's my baby. I'll show you guys my little baby right now. It's my baby. It's my... Ew. We have lagaña, an eye booger. I don't know what the correct word in English is, but we call them lagañas in Spanish. You know, the little stuff that you get at the corner of your eye. Okay, so you're probably like, why are you talking about puppy training at home? Well, here's the thing about puppy training is that a lot of times people move into their own place when they're, sometimes you have an apartment and you move into your house and people are like, awesome, now I can get the dog that I always wanted. And a lot of times, people want to get puppies, and I don't blame you. Puppies are so cute. You see them on Instagram being all cute and stuff, and you're just kind of like, oh my God, like I want a puppy. They're so cute. Look at how perfect it sleeps. Look at the little barriguita, the little belly that's sticking out. Like, super cute. I adore it. Puppies are like super precious, especially if they're not yours. Like babies, they're like fun. You're like, oh, what a beautiful baby. But then you're like, what about you? And I'm like, I'll see you next time. Oh, he's nudging me. Oh, my chapan. I'll bring the other one in a second too. What's up, bud? Oh, Bagheera. This is he's our big baby. Oh, Bagheera. So he is actually one of our babies. He's our smallest baby, but he's our medium baby in size. Oh. Okay, so puppy training. So you're like, okay, the things that you need to know about puppy training is that it does take some work. And you're like, well, what do you mean? They're so fantastic. Well, the thing is that obviously you can't get them at such a young age because they need to go ahead and be with their mom for some time, right? But the thing is that not only that, but it also helps them get better adjusted, or else they kind of get separation anxiety. Now, they're still going to get that separation anxiety once they're no longer with their siblings, but it's a little different when they've actually matured a bit versus they're so young and little. And so the thing is, like, even with Bagheera, or the one who was just on here, when we first got him, the first week, kind of drove us crazy. ¿Te acuerdas, babe? It drove us crazy because he was crying. And the thing is, like, we had all the dogs in our room, and we had him in a we had him in a cage, that way he would stay in the cage. And we wouldn't have to worry about him going all over the room and, like, leaving a mess. And the thing is that we ended up seeing that he would cry and cry for the first several hours, and it was maybe it wasn't hours, but it felt like hours because we were trying to go to sleep, and here was this puppy like crying and crying. Right? Let me put this away real quick. So that was hard. So again, that's kind of one of the reasons why you just want to make sure that you get the puppy at the right age. I don't know that age off the top of my head, but I trust that when you find the dog that you want to adopt or start handling and to take care of forever and ever, that you kind of do your research there. Because what I want to focus is things that you want to be weary about when puppy training. How about Bagheera? He likes balls. Come here. Can you see it? Who's your good boy? Go get it. Okay, so the thing is that, they're just playing. But, okay, when you get a puppy, you have to be mindful that they might not know, obviously, certain things. Like you need to potty train your puppy. And that means that after your dog is finished eating, you need to make, or drinking water, that you need to make sure that you take them outside as soon as possible. That way, when the dog finishes eating, they know that they go outside and they do their business outside, and that's it. Just because sometimes what'll happen is if you feed them and you forget, they're gonna go inside the house. Also because their bladders are so small when they're puppies and they're not trained yet, that obviously they can't go inside the house. To facilitate that, especially if you're working longer hours, one thing that you can do is get training pads. Now, dogs naturally don't want to be in their own excrements, right, or their own feces or in that kind of thing. They like to stay away from it if they can, but sometimes they just don't give a shit. So that's just something to be mindful of. Okay, let's shift you real quick. So this one is my favorite. It's my Chapan. My Chapan. Are you shy, baby? The other one just brought the ball. And then this is Chimera. I don't know if you can see that. Chimera, come here. So we have Bagheera, and then this is Chimera. She's our OG. She's our oldie. Come here, Chimera. Anyways, he's our small baby. But anyways, oh, you can kind of see that's Bagheera, and then this is Chimera. But what was I saying? So the thing is that you gotta, one of the things that you can do is put a mat on the floor. And you can find those at the dollar store. You can find them at PetSmart. They have different sizes depending on the size dog you have. And basically, you just leave them on the floor inside their crate. If you're crate training them, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to crate train. And basically, you just leave it in there, and they start learning that they need to pee on that because they don't want to pee in the area that they're sleeping at. That's just kind of, again, that's just kind of their biology. They don't want to sleep where they poop and stuff. But so that you want to potty train them that way. And obviously when you can and you're at home, you frequently take them out as much as you can, especially because that way they can go ahead and get rid of any pent-up energy that they have. But also you can make sure that they're able to go outside, to use the bathroom and stuff. Now the thing is that if you have dogs, well, here I should say it differently. Your oldest dog will serve as a model for your puppies, okay? And if you have a puppy with another dog that is still young in age, you're gonna have some really interesting dynamics happen. But Chimera, where is she at? Oh, she's over there laying down. Chimera is a girl, and she is our oldest, right? She's our firstborn. And the thing about her is that she's a girl, so she pees a certain way, right? Well, all our other dogs, Mazapan and Bagheera, which are both boys, they pee like her. At first, it blew my mind because I'm expecting to see them pop up their leg like you normally see in movies and whatnot. But it's because they had the example of Chimera peeing the way she does, and they learned that from her. So that's really interesting. So just something to be mindful of. Another thing, like I said, the dynamics of depending on the age is so he was about a year old, and he was potty trained and everything when we got Bagheera, right? Bagheera was like super cute puppy. Huh, Masapan? And the thing is that he started acting out. Like Bagheera would obviously have accidents inside the house because he was small. But Masapan started pooping too inside the house and peeing inside the house because he was acting out for attention, because obviously we would give Bagheera attention and trying to correct his behavior and whatnot. So just be prepared for that dynamic as well. I mean, it was kind of double the cleanup, and it was kind of, oh my goodness, this sucks. But I mean, you overcome. It takes a while. Now, other than having to potty train them and whatnot, another thing you have to think about is teething. So teething is this lovely stage where they have sharp needle-like teeth and they want to bite everything. And I mean everything. Like you'll be laying down innocently and they'll try to bite your face, your fingers, your feet, anything inside the house too. That's something to be super mindful of. So one of the things that we would do is get them a lot of toys, and sometimes they'll play with the darnest things. Like right now, one of their toys is an empty Gatorade bottle. Like they're playing around with it. It's so super funny. Like Mazapan, he always gets a toy whenever we come in the house or whenever he's trying to go outside. He'll pick up a toy to take outside, and you'll see him with his water bottle or something. So yeah, you need quite a few toys. You don't need to get crazy expensive toys either, okay? Because first see what they like. You know what I mean? Different dogs like different things. Some of them like squeaky toys. Some of them like soccer balls. Like Bagheera loves soccer balls. Like that's his MO. Like if you give him a soccer ball and he's happy for life. But Mazapan like squeaky toys, and so does Chimera. And then he just likes fluffy, soft toys. Like we had this Angry Bird that he loved. ¿Te acuerdas, babe? Like he just loved it. Like that was his toy. Anyways, and they were all toys that our suegra, my mother-in-law, had found. So yeah, toys, potty training, the dynamics between the other dogs, if you had any. Interestingly, our oldest bit Mazapan a couple of times when he was a baby and like actually drew blood. It was kind of scary because I was there for like both of them. I was like, oh my God, my favorite, don't hurt him. But because she's so big and he's so little in comparison, like he is maybe a quarter her size. So I'm like, girl, pick up someone your own size. But anyways, but she was never like that with Bagheera. She actually has much more patience. I don't know if she's like, well, you're the youngest now, and now that I have the experience of a puppy, Mazapan, she's more patient. I don't know. But yeah, so that was interesting. Just the dynamics there with our oldest. Now, one thing that you might notice with your puppy is that they eat really fast. And that's, you kind of expect that because they get so, they get so excited. Their bottom lifts up from the floor because they're eating so fast and whatnot. But it was concerning for us for a while because he was choking when he was doing that when he was eating. And we're like, uh-oh, like, we got to be careful with you because he was eating. I swear. How fast would you say he ate, babe? We gave him like a cup of food and he would gobble that up in less than a minute. But I want to say like it was 20 seconds and he would eat it all up. And so we just had like a regular bowl. Like think of a bowl and that's it. So I'm going to put you down. So what we did instead was, and he got up because he knows that this is his bowl. Huh, Bagheera? Is this your bowl? Is this your bowl? So they're always like smelling. They're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Okay, so this is his bowl, and all our other dogs have regular bowls because we didn't have that we didn't have that problem with the other ones. So it kind of shows you each dog is also very different. But here, it obviously is a maze, and it's like this deep, right? Or like where my thumb is. So it's like 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep. And essentially, it doesn't allow them to take mouthfuls of food at one time. So it slows down their eating, which is really nice. I mean, now he's slowed down because he's now over a year old now. So he's kind of grown out of that. But I think it still helps him, and he's used to his bowl. So this bowl can be very helpful if you're noticing my puppy's eating way too fast. Okay, and also it can prevent the whole choking thing. Now, you might want to, obviously you got to take your dogs to the vet and that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that what you have around the house, depending on the size of your dog, is not somewhere where they can reach it. Now, we have a tall table and the countertops are pretty tall, but Chimera is a tall dog. So all she can do this, and the counter's like right here. So her face is all up in it. So we always have to make sure that we leave the counters free of anything that they might want to eat or chew. And the thing is, you constantly have to be checking that because they'll get bored and they'll start doing other stuff. Like they started biting the, what is that called? ¿Qué se llaman estos? No, I forgot what they're called. I know the name. I can't remember. Baseboards. There you go. Thank you, my love. The baseboards. They started doing the baseboards out of nowhere with all these toys. And I'm kind of like, okay. So again, it's just something they have to evaluate over and over. Other things that you can do depending on your dogs, because dogs are pretty smart creatures. We had to baby-proof our trash can because it's one of the cabinets that you just open like this. We baby-proofed it with the magnets. So all we do is we get the magnet, we put it there, it unlocks it, we're able to open it. Because we would get home and all the trash would be all over the place. Now it depends on the type of trash can you have and where you have your trash can. But ours is under the cabinet there, under the sink, and you should have seen it. All kinds of bite marks on it. And yeah, but once we baby proofed it, it was just so much easier. Hey Tamara, it was just so much easier because we didn't have to worry about them opening that. Obviously, you always want to have water out for them. And a lot of these tips are if you're going to let your dog be inside the house. And I'm like, if a lot of people who are potty training their dogs is because they're keeping them inside for some period of time. Now, one thing to take in consideration is keep in mind what areas you want your dog to access. If it's all over the house, that's great. But if it's not, make sure that you establish those boundaries early on. They will try to test you. Like very much like children. They will try to test you. And the thing is that, I mean, we open other doors and they'll look at us and they'll take a step and I'm like, out. And also try to use simple commands. Like if I want them to get off something, I just say off. If I want them to get out, I'm like out. And they know to get out of the room and that kind of stuff. Oh my God, so how's your experience going with the pit bull? I know that I'm always like, I want to play with you, but I'm so scared because you're going to bite me. I'm like, ah. And because, you know, they get you and you're just like, ah, that hurt. I swear, when we got Mazapan, he's our little rescue, my favorite, the one I was holding. And he was teething and I had a really hard time because I was like, stop biting me. Like, I just want to love you. Why are you biting me? Hey, Joanna. But yeah, if you have any tips about, if you have any tips on how to better like potty train or any kind of stuff, like please share it with other people. One of the things that I do is I shower my dogs inside the house. It saves me from having to go outside. Oh, they make really good dogs. They have such a bad rap, but they're really good dogs. Like I've always met really sweet pit bulls. And so if you're washing your dogs, one of the things that you can do is wash them inside. Now it depends on the type of dog that you have. Like I can wash Bagheera. He's a pretty good size. He's like 75 pounds. I can wash him, this one that's like right here. I can wash him inside of the bathtub because he will be so good. All I have to do is smear this peanut butter dog treat that we got from PetSmart. I just smear it on the wall and he'll just, like he will just let me do whatever I want. But with Mazapan, because he's so little, he'll just kind of, he becomes like super, like he just turns into a little statue and I just like wash him. But Chimera, she's too big. And I just don't wash her inside the tub. Like I have to wait till Victor gets home and then we wash her outside or something. So that's interesting. I know that they also sell sprays so they know where to pee. We never actually use them. But what you can also do is also control how much water they have. And I don't mean don't let them not drink, but being mindful of, and it also depends like if you're at work and that kind of thing. So obviously praise goes a long way. So if you take a mat out, if you take like the little potty training pad and you see him pee on it, like obviously you want to praise him because they're like, oh, I love being praised. Oh, my human is praising me. Like awesome. And every time they do something like that, anytime that they do something that you want them to do, praise them. That might help. But I'm assuming your puppy's also peeing on one particular part of the house. Like our dogs would only pee in a certain section of the house. I mean, you're just like, holy moly, like please stop. It took us a while. How long do you think it took us to potty train Bagheera? Like 6 months? 4 months. But 4 months, that's 120 days. Like it gets old real quick. You get home and then you know someone peed inside the house, someone pooped inside the house. You know when somebody was sick. ¿Te acuerdas, my love? You'd come in and like you're like, oh snap. Oh, you know what? If sometimes too, if we don't see our dogs pee, like when they were little, we would wait outside until they peed. So babe, one of the people is saying that they feed the dog, they take him out for like 15 minutes, but the dog comes in and it pees next to the fridge. I'm kind of like, just leave the dog outside. No, I was like, I got pee pee. Yeah, just leave the dog outside until it pees. I mean, obviously it's harder if you have to be outside in a designated area with them, but if you have to stay there. That might help. Yeah, because I mean, it can get, the smell can penetrate in the house. So being super proactive about it can be helpful. But also knowing that the dog pees by the fridge, maybe putting a pad by the fridge. Obviously not that you want it to pee next to the fridge, but you have the pad on the floor. They pee on the pad next to the fridge. So you can eventually, not the same pad, but take a pad outside, and maybe the dog will be like, hey, I've peed on the pad before, I'm gonna pee on the pad outside, and they'll get used to peeing outside. Maybe that'll help. But I mean, and again, every dog is different. I'm just telling you what's worked for us from our experience having 2 puppies. Oh man, I know, it sucks. Like one time we came home and one of Bagheera, our youngest, we had him in a cage. He had diarrhea. ¿Te acuerdas, babe? That was nasty. That was super nasty. Because there he was, like, he was super excited inside his cage. And I was just like, what the heck is on the cage? Because I'm like, it looks like mud, but it can't be mud because you've been inside the cage. And it was his own excrement. He had, like, stepped on it and had, like, smeared it on the cage. And I mean, it was an iron cage. It was nasty. It was nasty. Like, it's those days where you're just like, why couldn't you just poop solid? Why? You remember Bagheera? Who's my baby? Anyways, another thing that I would recommend is not naming your dogs names that sound very similar to one another. I say that because Chimera and Bagheera rhyme. You're so vocal. And the thing is that I think they get confused sometimes. Or they just act like it's se hacen. ¿Verdad? Huh, Bagheera? Huh. He's bringing me his ball. Which reminds me, Victor was playing with the dogs one time. He threw the ball over the house. And did you hide it? Or he threw it. He threw it, but he accidentally threw it over to the parking lot next to us. Bagheera, quítate. And it was hilarious because Bagheera was like looking at the roof, waiting for the ball to come down, which never came down because it came down on the other side of the neighbors. But anyways, poor guy, he was like looking. He would look at Victor and be like, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Victor was like, I'm so mean. I was like, what'd you do? He's like, I did this. And I'm like, it's not mean. But it was funny. You remember. Anyways, well, I'm going to let y'all go. But again, any tips or tricks that you have for your puppies, share them with us. I mean, we will get another puppy, not in the near future, but we will end up getting another puppy. We're just dog people. We love people. Oh, I don't have a new puppy, but I'll show you my babies. A ver, Mazapan, come here. So this one is my favorite. This one's my favorite. He's the rescue. He's the 2.5-year-old one. 2.5? 2.5. But he's a Labrador Heeler mix. He's a little funky looking. I told my mom, he's so cute. But my mom said, well, he has to be because he's not that cute. I was like, oh, that's so mean, Mom. He's such a warm and kind dog. Now my other ones, I'll show you the other ones. I'll flip this over real quick. But this is Bagheera. Hey, Bagheera. And then here's the thing. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. You see that couch? We bought that couch. We had to buy it at Goodwill because we're like, we have to see how these dogs react to having a couch. Obviously, they did it. So, yeah. That was training. And they didn't take out all the fluff. We did so that we wouldn't get home to a huge mess. Hey, Bagheera. Who's your good boy? So this is Bagheera. And then this is our other baby. Hey, Chimera. Who's my big old girl? Who's my baby? Anyways, so these are my babies. They're the ones that wake us up with cold noses and step all over us and take half the bed. So Yeah, we put a lot of thought into naming our dogs, especially Bagheera. When we were going to pick him up, we're like, what are we gonna call him? And then we're like, Bagheera, that would be awesome. Mazapan, that one was a joke from my dad. He said, you should call him Mazapan because he's such a tan color. And I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. And he's like, what? And then Chimera is my adoptive daughter because Victor already had her when we got together. But yeah, those are my babies. I love them. They're my babies. And we're so happy because we hadn't seen them for the past week. But anyways, I'm going to let y'all go. I need to get dinner started. But, yeah, Bagheera's from the Jungle Book. And that we were going through names. We're like, what are names that we know that are cool and unique? And Bagheera's definitely one of them. But yeah, it's a huge commitment too, though. A lot of people say, oh, well, you guys don't have kids. That's true, but we can't get up and leave as easily because we always have to worry about if we leave anywhere. If say even we go out in the morning, we have to make sure that we come back within a certain amount of hours because then we got to let them out and make sure that they eat and that kind of stuff, right? And then if we want to leave for an extended amount of time, we have to make sure that we're able to leave them with somebody that we trust and someone that the dogs feel comfortable with too, because they are a little antisocial. So socialization in a puppy is super huge, which can be easily taken care of by taking the dog to the dog park and making sure that they spend time with other dogs. Anyways, a lot to think about, but a huge blessing. Like, oh, I love you. Yes, I do. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go for real this time. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, and let me know your puppy experiences or your dog experiences in general. I'm telling you, last night Chimera jumped the fence, and how tall is our fence, baby? It's at least 6 feet. This girl's pushing 8 years old. I'm like, girl, nothing is slowing you down, man. Anyway, so our life is always an adventure. Anyways, see ya. Have a wonderful Wednesday.